Whether it was full-color maps, cheat codes, specific help, or comics, Nintendo Power had you covered. I thought it would be fun to take a look back at some of the review scores of our favorite and not-so-favorite games. This is it, the last issue of Nintendo Power in the 80s. We have the smash hit Tetris as our cover boy, and NP serves us up 6 pages of beginners and advanced strategies inside. Hey look, former Nintendo of America president Howard Lincoln.
Nerds! 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 Come on, Lewis, let's go.
Willow is here in full color glory, and I know I sound like a broken record here, but these hand-drawn maps are exceptional. Even today, I'll take maps like this over any text wall GameFAQs has to offer. This is still a game that I really need to sink some serious time into. It looks stupendous. Player's Pulse, we get an assortment of interesting letters this month. One from a 75-year-old gamer that is obsessed with The Legend of Zelda, and his wife isn't too pleased about it. And another from Greg the Absorber Lasaluzzi. He boasts about his gaming accomplishments and having his friends come to him for gaming tips. I think we all had a friend like this on the schoolyard back then, didn't we? Issue 9 gives us plenty of full-color walkthroughs for games like Super Off-Road, Ironsword, Wizards and Warriors 2, old Detroit's favorite son Robocop, The Guardian Legend, as well as a handful of Game Boy greats like Super Mario Land. I tell you, this magazine is stuffed to the brim. We have a few special features thrown in as well, like 10 game endings from various game packs like Super Mario, Punch-Out, and Akari Warriors, as well as showcasing the hilariously bad Power Glove and U-Force peripherals. Man, these things sucked, especially the Power Glove, ugh.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
What are you, blind? Jesus!
Counselor's Corner gamers asked how to beat the 4th Dr. Wily stage in Mega Man 2, fighting the Black Onyx and Dragon Slayer in Xanadu, as well as how to perform power shots in Super Dodgeball. You want tips and tricks? Classified Information has your back, like showing alternate routes in the Amazon for DuckTales, enemy weaknesses in Mega Man 2, hidden 1-ups in Ninja Gaiden, and the extra gold allowance in Xanadu. Retroman and I always did this one as kids. Howard and Nestor sees the duo heading into space in search of the green cheese on the moon. Nestor gets captured by alien ducks and Howard has to bail him out. Stupid Nestor. And finally, our top 30 sees a new number 1. Mega Man 2 stands tall as champion this time. Super Mario 2 gets 2nd place and the former champ Zelda 2 slips to 3rd. Rounding out the top 10 is a legendary cast of crazy good carts, and a lot of new titles popping up here. Those are in the red, by the way. Do you see any of your favorites here? Let me know down in the comment section below. Here it is, our preview section and the review scores. Buckle up. So I'm going to lump these two together, but both Wheel of Fortune Jr. and Jeopardy Jr. are okay middle-of-the-road games. They do their respective licenses well, and they are multiplayer, so that's cool. Still, Wheel of Fortune has no Vanna, and Jeopardy has no Trebek. At a 15.5 and 15 respectively, I'd say that's pretty fair. One game I'm not happy with is the Three Stooges. Yes, believe it or not, Larry, Curly, and Moe made it onto the NES. It's basically a collection of boring minigames that I never really liked back as a kid. Nintendo Power seemed to love this game, however, giving it an absurd 16.5. Yes, there's some okay digitized speech of the Stooges, but they must have been paid off or something. I would have given it a 12 or 13 max. Unbelievable. If Top Gun and other flight sims are your thing, then give Stealth ATF a try. It's more of the same of those games with option of going completely off the radar in stealth mode. Kind of surprised by the high rating. Maybe a 14 is more suiting here. This version of Godzilla is a side-scrolling action game where you can play as both the titular character as well as Mothra. This card is pretty cool because it has a board game aspect to it. You can choose which monster to move around, and there's lots of secret passwords to play different scenarios. It's really cool. A 14.5 is okay with me. Shadowgate is a stellar point-and-click adventure that still gets lots of good recognition today. At times, the game was cryptic and had some cheap puzzles, but it's a really solid game here, and with a whopping score of 17, who could argue with that? This is also our highest rated game of the month, and I feel really happy a favorite of mine scored so high. One of the most common games in the library, Silent Service, is a game I surprisingly have not played, but there might be a reason to it. It's a sub game. I'm not too keen on sub warfare. Score of 14? That sounds about right. Retro Matt hates this odd platformer, but I don't mind it as much. It just takes some getting used to finding what jelly beans to use and where, and remembering what each jelly bean does. A 13 is A-okay. As far as skateboarding games go, Skate or Die is more my thing, but 720 is a pretty decent one. There's lots of events to master, and just messing around on the skate park is pretty fun too. A 13 seems a little too low. I think a 14 is about better. Soccer games are a mixed bag to me. I think the best one is Nintendo World Cup, but to each their own. At a 13, it's hard to argue that score. Here's a game that doesn't get a lot of attention, but this auto-scrolling game isn't too bad. Thundercade, its graphics not that great, won't blow you away, but it's got a pretty good challenge. A 12.5 works. Prisoners of War, one of SNK's best offerings on the Great Toaster. It's a solid beat-em-up that's tough and challenging, and one of the rare instances of being able to use firearms in a belt scroller. Unfortunately, the game is single player only, but it's still good. And so is the score at a 16.5, suits it perfectly. Again, this shooter won't wow you in the graphics department, but it does kind of fly under the radar in terms of solid fun. When you get tired of Gradius and Life Force, shout out to Desm101, give this game a shot. Now, Captain Algebra swears by this game, but as far as LGN carts go, this one is okay. The music drives me nuts, but you can turn it off. There's some decent fun to be had here, although NP didn't think so. Back in the day gamer loves fishing games. I can never get into this one. Maybe one day I'll give it another shot, but I think a 12 fits here. Okay guys, there you have it. Shadowgate claims top spot this time around, with the Three Stooges amazingly in the top 3, while the Black Bass and Back to the Future get left in the dust. Yikes! Stay tuned, because next time we enter a new decade, and issue 10 features stellar classics like Burai Fighter, Stallion Axe, and Championship Bowling? Nah, I'm just kidding. It's Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario 3!